Coalition forces are continuing a manhunt in Afghanistan for the rogue army sergeant who killed 3 Australian troops. The man's been named and is well known to local commanders, but his motives for opening fire on his colleagues remain unclear. The Australian government is getting messages of sympathy from around the world after the deaths of 5 soldiers in one day. The Prime Minister is back at work in Canberra getting the latest advice on the tragedies. From Canberra, Nick Dole reports.
A late-night arrival in the capital with another dark day to follow. The Prime Minister went straight into briefings on Australia's worst loss of life at war since Vietnam. That's where the Defence Minister was when he got the news.
There has been no greater shock, no greater pain that the force has felt for many a long year.
The Commander-in-Chief visited the Australian War Memorial in London to honour the nation's 5 latest fallen soldiers.
We're thinking of their families and their mates in our hearts.
On the ground in Afghanistan, the hunt for the killer goes on. He's been named as Sergeant Hekmatullah, but there's no word yet on a motive.
Sometimes the motivation is one of personal disgruntlement. Sometimes the motivation is an ideological one, and sometimes the motivation is just a clash between individuals.
Australia had already boosted security inside the bases. Those arrangements are now being reviewed. The issue of trust between troops is front and centre, but the relationship won't last forever. Most Australians will be out of Afghanistan by the end of next year. For some politicians, it can't come soon enough. The Greens say there's no point risking more Australian lives.
We're embroiled in one sense in intertribal conflicts that go back literally hundreds of years. And I don't think there's any kind of military solution.
I don't think any Australian wants us to be a country that can't be relied upon, a country that cuts and runs.
Even if Australia holds up its end, questions remain over the Afghan National Army's role.
No doubt we'll probably say that the ANA in Erasgun is now capable of taking over, but I think that any of the NGO workers there or people who are not actually part of the military commitment will say that there's no way that they're going to be ready to take over by then.
In the meantime, Australian troops continue the training mission, trying to put the most tragic of days behind them. Nick Dole, ABC News, Canberra.